Hello everyone. My presentation for today is Swipe, Scroll, Repeat, the rise of short form video in digital culture. These are my academic information. Now, none of you are really unacquainted to what short form video is. There is a possibility that if my presentation gets too boring, you might secretly indulge in short form videos. So let me begin with a short history of short form videos. Where does it find its origin? So in 2013, we see the rise of Vine, which was the first video platform, short form video platform. It started with it was a platform where you can stream 20 to 60 seconds videos. And after that, we saw into 2018, we see the rise of TikTok. And TikTok saw global success. It saw unprecedented popularity, and everybody was on TikTok. They were creating the cringe videos, and it was an entire phenomenon. Then in 2020, Instagram, to counter TikTok, started Reels, which is essentially a short video. So it also became a short video platform. And now we have Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook also has Reels. There are Reels on Snapchat. So we see that short form videos have a very large influence on our social media. The reason for its popularity. So these are some reasons for it, why it's so popular. So because there is a short attention spans of people, and short videos present bite-sized pieces of content, so they are easily digestible for today's new generation. There is a free access to content. We don't have to pay any subscription fees for it, and it is also universally accessible. And one major factor is the personalized content due to advanced algorithms. So, in my presentation, my research question is, how do TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts shape user engagement and influence the patterns of cultural consumption in digital spaces? My hypothesis is the short swipeable format and algorithmic recommendations on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts encourage continuous user engagement and foster rapid cyclical patterns of cultural consumption, where trends and content become viral and fade quickly. To analyze this, I'm using the circuit of culture theory. It is a theoretical framework developed by these scholars, including Stuart Hall. It was presented in their book, Doing Cultural Studies, the story of Sony Walkman, where they analyzed this Sony Walkman through this circuit of culture in 1977. So, circuit of culture has 5 aspects, and when you focus on these 5 aspects, you can study the cultural artifact better. These 5 aspects are representation, identity, production, consumption, and regulation. So, representation. Short form videos, what do they represent? They represent entertainment as well as information. They include memes, dance trends, challenges. So that represents entertainment, while there is also activism and informative videos, which leads to social awareness. One very great example of this is the Ukrainian President Zelensky's use of Instagram videos during war on Ukraine, and he used Instagram videos to spread awareness of what was happening with his country. Other than that, short form videos also include everyday life, personal struggles, relatable experiences. As we already saw, that this is a major factor in their popularity. You might notice that whenever you have an assignment due, you will see all the memes regarding assignment. Whenever your assignments are completed, you will see all the memes about relief of completing an assignment. And in here, we see global as well as local representation. We see that it's universally accessible. So there is global representation. You can sit in India and see what was happening in US like 5 minutes ago. And there is also local representation. Identity. So who creates these content? Mostly we can say everybody. We will talk about that in production. But mostly the digital content creators are influencers. And they conform to existing cultural norms. This is because that they create content, and from that they build a fandom, and after that they get brands to sponsor them. That is how they earn. So due to this system, we can see that they are sometimes they are conforming to existing cultural norms. Some of them include gender in brand promotions. You will see that if it's a technical stuff, then it's mostly a male dominated field, while if it is about beauty and fashion and everything, then it would be mostly female dominated space. So we see there is the gender divisions. We also see sometimes unnatural beauty standards in social media. People see this fit people and they start to feel bad about their own body, and they create a negative body image about themselves. There is also cultural hegemony. Now, this was a concept given by Antonio Gramsci, who was an Italian Marxist. Cultural hegemony is basically when upper class people control the information, they control the narrative, they control what is going on. One case study that I was able to find on this was about the American celebrities, the Kardashians. They live an opulence life, and yet they sometimes pretend to be relatable. And another very famous example, recent example from India, we can say, is the Ambani wedding, because it dominated our Instagram reels. Every time you open Instagram, you are transported to Jamnagar. Social media nowadays, we can say, is moving towards inclusivity, and there is more acceptance, although it still has a long way to go. But there is also, we see emergence of subcultures. Now, what is subculture? Subcultures is basically a group of people who think alike on social media, we can say, and they help in creating people's identity. They make them feel a sense of belonging. One example of this is cottagecore. Cottagecore is basically when people romanticize the Western country life, and they promote simple living. Another is dark academia. There are K-pop fandoms. Just like that, there are many other celebrity fandoms. And book talk. Book talk is when people on TikTok mostly talk about books and they influence book, and this shows great impact on the publishing industry as well. We see that examples like Song of Achilles, which was very famous on TikTok, and then it became a bestseller, global bestseller, due to this. So production. One reason, as I said earlier, that anybody can create these videos, and it is because ease in production. There are built-in editing tools, there are filters, there are music libraries. So there is accessibility of production, and this increases participation. The only necessary tools for this are a smartphone and internet. What are major factors affecting this production? So one is algorithm controlling the visibility. Algorithm controls visibility, and so people would often create content that would fit into that algorithm, and so this affects production, sometimes hinders creativity, and short form video became essential for digital marketing. And so because of this, creators sometimes try to align themselves to certain ideas, to certain brands, to become a tool, to become a medium for this digital marketing. Consumption. We all know it's not an unknown fact that there is passive consumption of these short form videos, especially. You open Instagram for 5 minutes and then suddenly 2 hours have passed. So there is a very passive consumption. These are a few stats from 2024. We see that TikTok has 1 billion monthly active users. Instagram has 2 billion monthly active users, and 40% of their time is spent in reels. We see YouTube has 1.5 billion monthly active users, and shorts get 15 billion views daily. Algorithms personalizing feeds makes content more and more irresistible, and this also is a major factor in the consumption. And there are also documentaries like The Social Dilemma that shows how algorithm functions and gives us an insight into what is happening. Risk to these passive consumptions. There are many risks to these passive consumption. Major are erosion of attention span. After spending all your day on such short video platforms, you will see your attention span reducing. There is reduced academic focus and mental health concerns as well. Now, cultural impact. The cultural impact of this short form videos is undeniable and great, of course. It influences our fashion choices, our lifestyle, our humor. The memes that we see, the reels that we scroll, they are not limited to our phone. We find them coming into our real life as well. And this is called brain rot humor. So it is when you are talking about a serious issue to someone and they would say, Chin tapak dum dum. So that is brain rot humor. Many professors might reference Gujarati songs regarding Garba and matching clothes in their lectures as well. So that is also an example of this. There is also a cultural impact on language. We see an increase in abbreviation, acronyms. Uh, there are emergence of words like Riz, which won the Word of the Year 2023 from Oxford Press. There are words like red flag, cap. So they mean something else, but their meaning is changed for the videos. So we have red flag, which means a red flag, but when used in this context, it means a toxic trait of a person. A cap means when something false is happening, or like somebody is saying something false. So you would say, stop the cap. There are so the words have changed. We also have words like shipping. Mostly it would mean sending a package, but here it would mean when you like two people as a couple. And you would also see these shipping reels about, they are like edits, and about, with a romantic music in the background, and you will see edits of celebrities, certain prime ministers. There are abbreviations like LOL, BRB, FOMO, GOAT. So this is impacting our language as well. Regulation. Now, data collection and threats to nation. This is, whenever we talk about regulation, this becomes a major concern. We see that these social media apps, these short video forms apps, they collect data, user data, and over time, many nations feel threatened by it. And so there is government intervention. One example of this is ban of TikTok. TikTok is basically a Chinese company, and China is a rival of India, we can say. So they banned TikTok in, let's not say fear, but like in some sort of fear that their users' data is transported and given to China. There was also a bill to ban TikTok in US during Joe Biden's presidency. Whenever we talk about regulation, there is also, of course, age restriction, copyright laws, privacy laws that are inherent in these apps. And there is always the topic of censorship versus freedom of speech. Social media apps, these short video formats, they become a tool for freedom of speech, and suppressing them is always this, people always revolt against it. There is also this book, The Revolution Will Be Digitized, by Heather Brook. She's a famous journalist, and she has written about government control of information and the balance between freedom and security. Interconnectedness of the circuit. These elements do not exist in themselves. They are connected to each other. They influence each other. So the circuit of culture is interdependent, and the five elements constantly influence and shape one another. How do they do this? We see algorithms, which is part of production, amplify certain trends. Then these trends shape identities. They create subculture. Identities shape engagement patterns. So that comes into consumption, and consumption demands regulation. Regulation in turn influences production. So we see that all the five elements interact with one another and influence one another. So to conclude, we saw representation, identity, production, consumption, and regulation of short form videos and how they influence one another. To conclude my presentation, I would like to say that short form video platforms not only shape how we consume culture, but also how we perceive and participate in it. The swipeable format and algorithmic curation encourage addictive engagement by constantly delivering personalized, trend-driven content. These are my references, and thank you. Now for your questions.
My question is, what are the potential downside of short form video platform for cultural consumption?
Okay, so one downside that I can think of right now is echo chambers that are created by algorithms. So it's basically that algorithm will push further the content that you are already interacting with. This means that you will the content you consume will constantly reassure you of your own beliefs, and it would not share new ideas with you. So there is the downside of creating echo chambers. There are also downsides, like shallow engagement with culture. We can say that there is not long lasting cultural connection with our content. So that was it.
In what ways do you think consuming short videos or Instagram reels influence young minds and impacts their ability to think critically?
Okay. Number one, we said, of course, the short attention span, and it makes us incapable of focusing a long time. If you use these platforms, then your brain gets addicted to the dopamine releases that it gets with every swipe, every like, and you get very addicted to it, and you find yourself not focusing on things that actually matter. So that is a difficulty. And yes, the influence on young mind is very much, and that is why I think people are threatened by it, because if the young generation is spending all their time on these videos, then how are they going to manage the other things? So that is it, and thank you.